like Rosa Parks at the bus stop, tryna fuck, what it do? Dreaming about that pussy just like Dr. King. I hit once, it drove me crazy like angel dust. You not wearing pink, you can't hang with us.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lexi D. Today I got another interview for you guys, and I am here with Stock Marley. What's good? What's happening? Give us a little background info on you, like who is Stock Marley, where are you from, what do you do, all that.
Okay, cool. I was born in Columbus, Ohio. I'm not necessarily a rapper that grew up wanting to do music. Fast forward to college. I guess I could pick it up with Nosirrah. We used to just smoke. I had a patio.
You always like build friendships when you
right?
smoke.
I swear, the friends that you make are the best friends
Literally.
in the world.
I vouch that.
We would literally smoke on I had an enclosed patio. We called it the treehouse. And I had my little portable speaker out there, and I had a futon out there. We were living it up. And so what I would do was we would smoke, and I'd throw on beats, and we would just freestyle. And freestyling became somewhat of a hobby of mine. It wasn't like I was walking around talking about freestyling, but in my head, I was like really practicing.
Yeah. Sitting
there rapping with Harrison, and he was the first person to really look at me and be like, bro, you should do something with this. Like, this is something you should try to like take seriously. And I was like, no way. But I was not about it. I thought it was corny. And I was like, what, I'm gonna be a rapper? You know what I mean? We're in college at this time. I'm like, what, 20 years?
Usually when people like talk about rappers, they look up to them and say like, oh, that lifestyle is so cool, but you thought it was corny?
I thought it was corny for me to be like 21, 22, only liking the freestyle, to seriously think that I was going to be a rapper. I'm like, bro, that's whack. Like, only niggas who smoking too much think that they're about to actually be a rapper. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I don't think that's realistic.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And so he was like, nah, I'm serious. Like, you should try this. We go back and forth. I give him pushback. Like, nah, man, like, let's just chill. Like, we're all having a good time, right? One day, get a knock at the door, and it's this dude. And he shows up with a mic, the mixer, like the whole shebang. Like, he's got the whole thing. And he's like, we're gonna make a song today.
So he basically was the person who inspired you to get on this music journey.
1,000%.
Like, he just pushed you. He's just like, yeah, I believe in you, nigga. We're gonna make this happen. So let's go.
Way more than I believed in myself.
Yeah.
Like, way more than I believed in myself. He saw something in me I did not see. From that day, he starts training me on how to be an efficient artist. What I mean by that is, we're sitting there in a smoky room, probably about 3 hours later, not one usable piece of recording.
Hey, I mean, trial and error.
Because I'm telling him, like, look, bro, Lil Wayne don't write.
Right.
Okay? I'm not writing.
So you were just trying to like,
yeah, I'm like, freestyle's where I come from. This is, if I make it, this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. You know, he let me run into a lot of my own hurdles. And so 3 hours later, I'm sweaty. We're in this room. He looks at me and he was like, just so you know, like, in the real world, you'd owe me for 3 hours of studio time right now. And you don't even have a song.
Yeah.
And that was like a moment for me. I was like, damn.
Was that like your realization?
I was like, he's right. I was just like, okay, I gotta learn how to write. Very frustrated at that. He leaves, and I turn on Kanye's Say You Will. Yeah, Say You Will. And I just took a stab at it. Like, it was out of like pure frustration. I sat there for 2 hours pouting, just like, this is stupid, and I hate rapping, and
didn't want to write.
Yeah, I'm like, why does he want to take the fun out of everything? Like, I was just having a good time on my porch smoking, and now I'm mad about this. Like, this is not what it's supposed to be. I don't want to do this. And then I'm sitting there just staring at that pad, like, well, let me try, you know. And then I wrote a song which was horrible. But I wrote it.
What was the song called?
Say You Won't. I literally just did that little number. And I was everywhere. It was like popping the top on something you have no idea how to control or anything. I'm just writing. Like, it's not cohesive. I don't even know if it made sense, honestly. It was just like...
There was no structure.
Yeah, just me trying to have a go at it.
Yeah.
People who were impressed with me freestyling, I take this to them. And I'm like, yo, I made a song, yo. Like, I'm all happy, you know. I'm like, I made a song. And then niggas, I'm pressing play and not getting the reaction
that you hoped for.
Yeah, that I would get when I would freestyle.
Yeah.
The way people would react when I would freestyle was not the way they would react when they heard this song.
Yeah, so I know that added more to your frustration when it came
to
writing.
Man, I went to Harrison and I was like, I told you. Why am I doing this? Like, people didn't even like it. I'm never rapping again. I'm done. I can't believe I listened to you. This was the worst idea of my life. I went on that whole rant. And then I think that lasted for like a couple days.
Yeah.
And then it was like, honestly, it might have lasted a little longer before I ever shared anything again. Wouldn't you know, it was a relationship that really spurred the beginning of me having confidence again. I was breaking up with this girl, and I wrote like, it was to deuces. I remember like, okay, you know, so I went and found the YouTube little instrumental, and I wrote this song about this girl, you know, and she broke my heart, and all she wanted was attention, and you know, I was just, you know, I'm going off. But it was the first verse that I wrote with emotion.
Yeah.
It was the first, and I would rap it, and people would be like, yo, that's really good. There was a poetry club at my college at the time, and I remember I used to just respect their opinion, the people who were in the club, you know what I mean? They do this. So I was like, I would call them to my car, I had a truck, and I would play it in my truck, and I would rap to it. I would ask them what they thought about it, and then that was the first piece of writing I did that people were like, yeah, this is good. And then from there, the confidence grew.
Boosted your confidence, and you just kept going at it.
Kept going at it. Harrison ends up leaving. He's gonna leave. He's kind of the one who birthed me into this whole thing. So he's like, I'm gonna introduce you to somebody before I leave, so that he's gonna like take you on, like, and show you the ropes of this whole thing you're trying to do, and he's what you need. You know what I mean? Which ended up being Prop. And so I see Prop standing in front of the market one day, and I walk up to him, and I was like, your name Prop? And he looks at me kind of like, yeah. You know what I mean? And I was like, you did that one song with Harrison on the Fuji's instrumental? And he was just like, oh yeah, I did. And I was like, yeah, that shit was hard. And he was like, oh, thanks, bro. I was like, yeah, man, I just got a couple questions. Like, I'm trying to be a better writer. You know what I mean? Like, he told me that I should holler at you. He was just, oh, yeah. So, long story short, like, we arranged for me to come through. I think I ended up actually recording the song that I wrote about that girl in his closet. This was like our first little session. And I had met the other guys in Freenation at the time. There was only 3 other people. And so after I recorded there, that was like my like induction, I guess you could say. And I was like in the group. That's really where I come from.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it birthed musically. I had no intentions of doing music in college, like changed it all.
I'm gonna get into your projects a little bit. So your first project was Paraphernalia?
My first project.
Was that the first one?
It wasn't.
What was the first?
The first project is not on the internet. You cannot find it. I have removed it from hopefully, from every place you can find it.
Hey, it's probably somewhere.
It's called The Doubt. Private Stock, Paraphernalia. Paraphernalia was the first project I did when I got out of college.
Okay.
That was actually, I recorded Paraphernalia in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
That was my first.
So was that
time.
like your first like serious, like project you really took your music career seriously?
Yeah, where it was like, we're not in college anymore.
Yeah, like.
The 2 tapes I dropped in college, you dropped them under the security of I'm a student. This ain't really, it don't matter what this does.
Right.
I'm here for college. Paraphernalia came out of me graduating, coming home, telling my mom, like, I'm about to rap.
Hell yeah, bro.
She was like, rap what?
You felt like Caribbean or anything?
Nah,
No,
but we were brought up in a very strict religious Christian household.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Raised Seventh-day Adventist. And
oh.
so, yeah, it's, rap is probably about the most countercultural thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't accepted by my family. My mom is way more open-minded. You know, she's kind of the black sheep in her little, you know, like out of her and her sister. And so my mom's the more open-minded one, but even she had a hard time accepting the fact that this is, she knows I'm serious about something. And she was just praying it was a fad. Like, please God, let it be a phase.
But it wasn't.
When I was willing to work at Chipotle and just sit there with a degree, she was just like, you're not gonna try to get a real job. And I'm like, this is my job. Like, I am a musician. Paraphernalia was the beginning of that.
Yeah. And then 2017, you dropped Propaganda.
Propaganda, man, that's still my baby.
Yeah.
That was like a culmination of so much. That was me like taking a step back, realizing how long of a journey this was really gonna be.
Yeah. I remember, was it the Stock Marley Part 2 song that you dropped? That's what put me on to you. Let's get into Smoke Signals.
Smoke Signals.
Just dropped March 20th. So what made you want to put this project together? What was the inspiration behind this?
Why it's so special is because the story I just told you about how I started, almost 10 years later, we get to come together. March 20th was a special day.
Yeah.
It was the first day of spring. And it was also the birthday of a very special friend of ours, more like a brother to Harrison. Tragically lost his life last year. It was a heavy moment. Deeply affected a lot of people close to me, as well as me. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I had the right to even take it as hard as the Harrison and Prop. They were super, super close to Eli. That happens. I even rapped on a verse. This song hasn't come out yet, but just Elijah's gone. The fuck have it wrong. I don't understand fundamentally. Got Prop on the phone and Harrison blown. I know it's affected him critically. They were going through it. You know what I mean? And his passing affected people in different ways. And I feel like Harrison found himself feeling stagnant as far as creatively. And, you know, just dealing with the loss of not just a close friend, but somebody you consider family.
Yeah.
And so he calls me and he's like, yo, man, like, I just really want to get things going. He's like, I just want to cook on something. Like, I just want to get the juices flowing again, man. Like, and I have been working. I have been working. And he was just like, man, you know, I see what you're doing. And like, I just want to do this song together. He sends me this song. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like, this is nothing. Like, we can do a song. He's like, well, if we do a song, I want to get you out here to Denver and let's shoot a video for it. And I'm like, nigga, if we're going to do all that, we might as well do a few songs.
Right.
Like,
let's make a whole project.
Like, let's just cook something.
Right.
Didn't even like, project was maybe what I meant, but it was more like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And this trip was so pivotal. He's like, bet. First song he sends me is Started With C, by the way. That was the first song he sent me. Then he contacts me. He's like, all right, well, if you're serious about this, bro, like, I will fly you out here. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, for real? He's like, yeah, like, dead ass.
Yeah,
like,
he wasn't playing around.
Nah, he was like, bro, let's do this. So I'm like, all right, bet. Flies me out to Denver. 5 days I was there in total. 4 days we probably really like worked. I brought Super Wax with me. He had Maybe with him, and then we just built everything else. And for 4 days we'd wake up, smoke. I'll have my little devotion, and we'll get to it, you know?
Yeah.
We'll get to it. And Nirvana, that beat got sent while we were both sitting there cooking. I was like, bro, drop what you're doing, let's write this right now. Like, I'm really big on just riding that inspiration. You hear something that moves you, like, let's move on it. Like, don't wait, don't try to harness that or like, I'm gonna save that. Like, let's act on
And
it.
just get right on it.
Yeah, like, let's do this. We did that for 4 days. And on the last day I'm there, we recorded the whole thing.
Wow.
I just recorded the whole
So you
thing.
basically finished it while like the whole 5 days were out.
Yeah, we finished the tape completely. That experience started something. It ignited a flame in me and him. It gave me confidence. Moving out here, taking my craft seriously. He let me take the driver's seat on a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I was humbled, you know, because I knew he trusted me. And I'm just like, yo, let's take it here, let's take it there. And then we sat there at the end. I'll never forget this. We had it all recorded. We come back to the house and we're sitting there rolling up and we play it. And now we get to Nirvana and we're both just crying.
But that's a good thing though.
Yeah, just passing this, just listening to the thing, just crying.
Just crying and passing the blunt around.
Yeah, just crying. And it was like, I know maybe it was a hard song for him to finish. He's talking about, you know, Eli's death and how he feels about that. And it was not that I needed to push him to finish that song, but I just kept reminding him how many people needed that song.
Right.
How many people needed those words. How many people are going through something very similar to that? You know, death and losing loved ones is something we deal with on a daily basis.
Yes.
And I'm like, you're gonna touch so many people. So many people need that song.
Right.
It's not that I want to rush you to get it done. I just want you to know, like, man, people need that. The writing process was hard. The recording process of that song was hard. I have a lot of respect just for emotion and what people are going through. It was hard for him to even record that. You know what I mean? And it was a moment. It was a moment. The first time I really got a chance to use some of these tools that I've picked up since I've come to Chicago. He immediately made a SoundCloud playlist and just started sending it out. It's people that we fuck with, and people that opinion you care about, you know what I mean? And the responses we were getting were just like,
We're really good. Well, that gave you the push to really be like, yeah, I'm gonna put this out.
you know what I mean?
Maybe it's meant to happen.
Yeah, it was a moment that definitely was meant to happen. Took it next level. We have a mutual friend we went to school with. His name is Chris, and I think they were down there at Art Basel together. And the artwork is actual pieces of art. Like, that's an actual piece of art. It's a little smaller than that, but it's an actual piece of art, and it's construction paper cut with an X-Acto knife,
Oh wow.
stacked on top of each other.
Oh, really?
So yeah, like from the moon to the stars to the mountains, all that is layers of paper.
That
on
makes
top
it
of each.
very much more unique.
You see?
Like, because the regular cover art, you just see people like
It's-
throwing graphics together.
Yeah,
stuff.
and I was
this
like,
is an actual art
An
piece.
actual art piece. The front and the back are both.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know.
That's different.
I just never thought that construction paper and X-Acto knives could be so cool. Like, you know.
Hey, you
but-
never know with creativity.
Exactly.
You make it work.
just gives it a really cool look.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing started to come together. This is the first project that I've had since I've moved to Chicago and been full-time working on art. Like, this was my first release. It was an honor to do it with Harrison because of the way I started.
Right.
So it's only right.
Yeah.
It feels like the beginning. Did a drop at the first day of spring. Just trying to get all these new vibes and all the, you know, just things. Even when things come to an end, we have this rebirth period.
Right.
And I feel like that spring represents that. And that's what I wanted to bring.
You touched a little bit when you were telling me about how you started your music journey and stuff, about how you're a part of Freenation now, and Prop was basically the one who introduced you into that. So talk to me a little bit more about that.
Evan by Berman. Berm. He's in Freenation. He was dating this girl that was sorority sisters with the girl I was talking to at the time. So he would come in my house and we would smoke, and he was the one that was kind of like, yo, you should really come holler at Prop, and then like, you know, Freenation, like I think you would like it, you know what I mean? And I was just like, no.
Straight up.
Yeah, because now I'm like, okay, they've convinced me to rap, but I'm damn sure not about to be in no boy group.
Right.
Like, what? Like, no, nigga. Like, if I'm a rap, I'm gonna rap on my own. I'm gonna make it on my own. Like, I was just on that. Finally getting me to like be open-minded, and he's like, man, just come over and check it out. Just check them out. So we come over, and it's like this. It's kind of like this.
Yeah.
Like everybody's kind of sitting around. We're like smoking. So they're like, so yeah, like I heard you could rap. They're like, yeah, like, so I heard you could rap. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like I rap a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, so they like, I mean, so what's up? Like you trying to freestyle or so I was like, yeah, nigga, what's up? So we smoking and rapping. It wasn't probably my best day, you know, but it was like, I was doing enough to make niggas be like, dang, like, okay, yeah, like dude can rap. Yeah, you feel me? They smell what I was cooking a little bit. So it was like, after that day, I guess you could say, I was kind of like in talks with being in the group, but it wasn't until me and Prop did the song, and I remember I looked over at him when we were done, and I was like, so like I'm in the group? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, so I can like rap about Freenation and shit. Like,
you can start saying it.
And I can drop like Freenation in my verses and stuff. He's like, yeah. Like, yeah, man, do whatever. And I was like, word. Like, you know, it was definitely a moment, you know, like it was a moment. Freenation kind of came on the map through Who Got Bars, which was how, you know, Mick, when he tells his story, that's like the first thing he really cites is like his first rapping in public type thing was this rap competition that got put together by Jules and this dude named Fitch. And it was pretty much like Huntsville's first, went to school in Huntsville, Alabama. It was like its first, it wasn't battle rap, but it was like rappers pit against each other. So you wouldn't necessarily rap a verse at somebody, but we would all just rap our verses, and then judges would like, score it like that. And so it brought out everybody in the city who was quote unquote rapping at the time. And that was the first time I ever rapped in public. And so through this competition, that's how Mick joined the group, because it was controversy there in the beginning, because he had dropped a Free Thought line, but he wasn't in the group yet, and it was like, whoa, hold on, like we had like a meeting, like, bro, this guy's dropping our lines, like we don't really even know. And then I was just like, man, I mean, nobody's really gonna have a chance to prove themselves like he has, you know what I mean? So like outside of one of the competitions one night, we like inducted him in the group, and then we were like, all right, that's it, it's the 5 of us, like, and that's
no
more. And so that was how Freenation came to be what it is right now. Through Mick moving back to Chicago and then having his whole ascension, like that's what, a lot of the confusion came in as far as like you would hear him rap about Freenation, but none of us were there. Because we were in 5 different states at the same time. So it was like, I'm in, like Prop was in DC at one point in time, Maine is in Philly, Evans in Nashville, Mick is in Chicago, I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
How do you guys make that work?
It just didn't for a while. It's 5 of us. It is Maine, Berm, Prop, me, and Mick Jenkins. That is the 5 of us.
But I think it also is really great that you guys are together as a group, like a family, but you guys are like okay with each other doing your own thing. It's not like any like jealousy or you know, people play like, oh, he's popping like right now and like I'm still doing this. And, like,
you know, it's hard. It's hard. Like, let's be real. Like being human, like being in a group and not feeling like you should be where you are where you should be, or you see somebody else, and it's like I think we've all dealt with aspects of that at one point in time. but it should never be something to tear you apart.
Right.
You know what I mean? If anything, it should motivate you. I think that's what it did for me. Was okay, we're not all in the same position. We're not all on, but I'm gonna strive to get there.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna complain, and I'm not gonna like whine, because nobody owes you anything. And the sooner you get that, the sooner you can be like, okay, it's just all about putting your nose down and working hard.
Let's get into your tour life a little bit. So your first tour.
First tour, 2015.
The Waters.
The Waters.
I remember I saw you, and I didn't know you though. I didn't know you at the time, but I was there.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I was there in that crowd. It was at where? The Metro? Was it at the Metro?
Oh, it was the
yes,
Metro.
me and my friend and her friend were at there, and we saw you on stage opening up the mic and all that stuff. So from the first tour to like the most recent tour you just got off of for his most recent project, Pieces of a Man, how have you grown since then?
First, man, it's always a blessing to go on tour, man. Always a blessing. My fourth time performing in life ever was on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit. I'll never forget that. I'd only performed 3 other times. And Detroit was my fourth time performing. It was in the shelter where they filmed 8 Mile.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and M was like my first rapper that I really listened to. So I was so geeked. Like, I was just
that was like that's a very memorable moment for you.
It was a moment. And I was so nervous. Everybody from the bus driver to Mick was on the side of the stage, and they were all just kind of like, what's he gonna do? Nobody had heard me rehearse. Nobody had heard a song. They had I could have got up there and started juggling ping pong balls for all they know. Like, they had no idea what I was gonna do. And then I did my set, and I remember it was very specific in the beginning. Like, damn, man, Detroit fucks with you. Like, Detroit. And then we went to Toronto the next night, and it went even crazier. Yeah, and I remember that Mick looked at me. I came off stage, and the look he gave me was like, it was the first time he met me. He just looked at me like, yo, like,
you did that.
Yeah, he was like, I always knew you would do well, but like, damn, bro, like, I didn't see this. Yeah, like, this was, he was like, yo, you did that, you know what I mean? And so, it gave me a lot of confidence. And then I quickly realized that performing was just one of my strong suits, like, and then God blessed, I was able to smash every night on that tour. And then he just kept giving me the opportunity, like the door opened up. Yeah, so then he took me out on the next one. And then with this last one, you know, he was just like, I kind of was sentimental. We were about to leave, and I was just like, yo, man, I really appreciate what you're doing for me. Like, he was just like, bro, like, he was like, man, it costs money to have you on here. Like, I wouldn't pay nobody so they could feel better about themselves. Like, I bring you because I believe in you, bro. Like, you put on a great show. That meant a lot to me. I was just like, damn, okay. He's like, I couldn't have got anybody, you know what I mean? And there are other artists with bigger names and stuff like that, but he knows that if you don't know who Stock Marley is, at the end of my set, you'll be like, yo, who's that guy? Yeah. And that's not me being overconfident in any way. That comes from like a lot of hard work, you know what I mean? And it's being a student of what makes a moment, what makes good performances. I was a student of music way before I was a creator of it. So much tour footage. I just watched performances.
Just studying.
Yeah, I just watched Travis Scott and J. Cole and Kendrick, and you know, I would just look at everybody perform just because I wanted to see, like, you know, what's good and what's bad. I took from that talk during my set, and I think that is the #1 difference, like, that stands out between me and other people. Not just that, I'm talking about what I say. And I think even when people couldn't hear the music, maybe the sound wasn't that great, maybe whatever was going on that night, every night somebody came up to me and was like, what you said, like, I needed to hear.
It resonated.
Like, what you said. And I never forgot that. So I always make sure that I have you know, it's my own thing now.
It makes you stand out.
Yeah, I try to tie my music into stories. That's kind of how I operate in that arena. And so this tour was the first time I went out as Stock Marley. I did change my name.
Yes, I was going to ask you, why did you go from J Stock to Stock?
I did change my name. I mean, I mean, there's a couple reasons, but like one of the bigger ones, it just sounds better. You know, like J Stock is kind of like, you know, it's forgettable. Stock Marley, people don't forget that for some reason. It just had a better ring to it. I was very hesitant to take the name. I did not give it to myself. People will call me that. But I have a big, huge, like Bob Marley, Lauryn Hill, my two only musical idols, like people I look up to.
Inspiration behind the hair?
Yeah, like, he wasn't, Lil Wayne actually started this. Not that it has anything to do with him anymore, but that is, I won't fake. That is why I started it. Bob means a lot to me, and I did not want to feel like I was being cheesy and like just taking off his name or getting paid with his name. Like, I thought that was corny. But then, like, my mom was just like, I like Stock Marley a lot better. Like, and then one day she just told me, she's like, I mean, if you not Stock Marley, then who is?
Your mom gave you that cosign and hit you with that.
She was like, yeah, she's like, I mean, you look like Stock Marley.
Right,
like,
might as well.
You know, and I was just like, you know what?
Stock Marley it is.
It's time. Really interesting on this last tour, I would go out and people would come to me after the show like, aren't you J Stock? And I would be like, yo, that's crazy. Like, yeah, I am. Like, why'd you change your name? I'd be like, I was like, it's a transition. When I left for Chicago to make music and I became a full-time artist, I switched my name. You know, J Stock worked at Chipotle. This guy does not.
It's like it's a brand new you.
Yeah, this guy don't work at Chipotle.
Let's talk about your relocation. So you're originally from Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio.
When did you move to Chicago?
I came out here this past summer, so like June.
Last year?
But I was living in Mick's studio. I was staying in
Really?
I was living in the studio. He had opened up his own with me. And I just crashed in the studio. It was a good reminder every day you wake up in the studio, like what you're here to do. But then Corey Ronmo.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yes, he actually saw me looking for an apartment. Me and him have been cool, really good guy. And when I came to Chicago to relocate or look for a place to relocate, me and him actually ended up hanging out a lot. I would go to his house, man. He made sure I was fed, like really good dude. And saw me looking and was just like, I mean, asked me how much I was willing to pay. I told him. And he was like, man, if you just give me that, my lease is about to be up. I'll get a 3-bedroom. And then we could, and I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, it was a blessing.
It was like,
And then so, yeah, August 2018, I moved in. It's like 5 days before my birthday.
So what have you learned about yourself since you moved to Chicago?
Food isn't really that important.
But you fuck with Chicago food though, right?
Yeah, but eating, like my relationship with food changed. Like when you're poor and you're really trying to get it, and like there's certain things you have to like, the shit you can control. Like yeah, like dude, eat when you have to. Being hungry motivates you. I love walking to the train. I do. It's therapeutic. I want to come to Chicago and be one of the niggas that Ubered everywhere and don't know my way around.
Yeah.
And, like, nah. I stay on the west side. I am Kedzie and Roosevelt.
Okay.
Yeah, right in North Lawndale.
Okay.
I'm in the mix.
Check you out.
Yeah, I'm in the mix and I walk up and down the streets, spit on my face. Like, yeah. I love Chicago food. I love the competitive nature. Everybody's out here being creative. Everybody's out here hungry. You know, you made a song, so what? Make another one. I love that feeling. It keeps you on your toes. Chicago is full of creative energy. I've changed as an artist just being around other artists here.
Yeah.
Just seeing like, oh, that's how you do it? Okay. Watching Smino record, probably one of the dopest things.
I know that's like a really dope
Yeah,
experience.
man. He demystified what some of these people were doing. Dude was smoking a backwoods, humming to himself. And then he would go lay a piece of it down. And then, you know, and then
it flows.
Slowly became a song. And then I'm sitting back.
Just watching.
Yeah, and they're him and Classic, they're doing it in the headphones. So we can't really hear nothing. And then they going back and forth. I mean, he's making sounds and doing all these weird little things. And I'm like, what? And then they take the headphones off and turn this shit on and you're like,
yo.
Whoa. Like, he blew my mind. I was just like, yo, this kid is so talented. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Ended up being Covert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first song on the album. Yeah, I was in there while you recorded that.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's a really good song.
Yeah, it is.
I love that a lot.
Yeah, like the first half of it, I wasn't there for. They did it after I left. But that second half of that song, the doom, doom. I heard that and I was just like, yo, and he's catchy. Like, okay, I see you. It just opened up my eyes to like, this ain't no different than what you do. They just really doing it.
Yeah.
They not thinking about it. They not holding back. They're not second guessing it. They're letting it happen.
Right.
And they're capturing it. It inspired me. I was like, okay. See.
From me just looking on your social media, I see that you're very wise. You're a really wise person. You're always dropping gems and like even like some of the things that you talk about, I take back from it. So like, where does this insight come from? Like, where do you gain this?
Man, that's how we was raised. Man.
Yeah.
I can't take no credit for that. It's just how we were raised. We were raised different. I think we hated it while it was happening. You hate it while it's happening, and you get older, and you're like,
you realize. I see why they did that.
I see why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean that's God. That's God. I can't take no credit for that. He allowed me to get things. I prayed for wisdom. I asked for clarity. You know, but He allowed me to get it. A lot of people don't get it. Even when they try to see it, they don't see it. And He's giving me insight on just a lot of things. You know, and I do a lot of thinking. You know, my brain is going 24/7. You know what I mean? But to me, how I feel about life in general is I would hate for you to have known me.
Yeah.
You find out something that could have helped you. And then you find out that I knew that the whole time and I just didn't say anything.
I see.
It's like, why wouldn't you help me?
Right.
Some people are afraid of being like, well, ain't nobody asked you. That's true sometimes. But like, I always wanted people to know, like, because some people are mad when you don't agree with them. We're not going to get into that, but it's like religion. A lot of people come to you with religion, like, they don't care about your soul salvation. They're just mad you don't agree with them. Yeah. I'm just like, yo, there's hella things in life I found to be true. There's universal truths that just are true. Not because I want them to be true, but because they are true. And whenever I have an opportunity to like drop one of those, I just try to. Like, yo, this is one of the universal truths. Like, it could be something about relationships. It could be something about life. Most of the time, I try to keep it pretty general. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I feel like nobody was there for me telling me that stuff. Well, I might not have the answer, but I can tell you, like, I know it's not that. That's how I try to approach people. Not in a teaching way, but more in like a compassionate, empathizing way. Like, yo, you're mad? Like, man, me too. I feel you. Right. But like, this is what I do with my anger. You know what I mean?
Just,
like,
yeah, giving them an ultimate, a way to deal with.
And showing them, being a living example. People don't want to hear you, and that's what a lot of people be out here just talking. Yeah. Nobody want to hear you talk about things you don't actually do. Exactly. So it's like, it's one thing to say, you feel me? It's one thing for me to drop a gem. It's a whole other thing when you meet me in real life and then realize like, oh man, he's about everything he said. To me, that's way more impactful than just running your mouth.
Just to get away from the serious talk a little bit, I'm gonna ask you like a little fun questions.
Let's do it.
Fun questions.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I know you love you some weed.
Man.
You love you some weed. Okay?
Man.
So, now I want you to tell me what are your top 3 favorite strains of weed.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go. And I'm gonna give you way more detail than you asked for. I'm gonna give you top 3 indicas and top 3 sativas.
Okay, let's get it.
Real quick. So on the indica side, heavier side, you got GG4. That's gotta be up there.
That's number 1, period.
It's just a really good strain. As far as you want something to sit your ass down, but you want it to taste good and smell good and look good. It's GG4, like definitely. Then I'm gonna go, even though these are hybrids, they're more indica dominant. Let's do gelato. Very good strain.
And then the third one?
I can't co-sign, I don't know what Runts is completely, but nigga, I was in Atlanta just recently on tour. Shouts to Bros and Brandon and Rome. they're talking about runs. And I'm like, nigga, I done smoked everything from Skittles to Starburst to all this candy shit. I had it all. They brought me this bag of runs. And let me tell you something. I could not finish that joint, okay? Ooh. I got halfway through and I was just like, whoa, it's getting a little warm in here. Divas. I love Blue Dream, even though it's a hybrid. I'm totally, in case we got connoisseurs watching, I totally know it's a hybrid, but it's on the lighter side of things. Blue Dream, Tangy, and we'll go Wedding Cake. Even though Wedding Cake is also a hybrid, it's like the heavier side of the lightest note you can have.
I've never had Wedding Cake.
It's like vanilla peanut butter.
Oh,
if that makes sense.
I need to try that.
No tasting of peanut butter, but it's gonna hit you like that. You know what I mean? But it's a real light.
But it's sweet.
Yeah, you can smoke it during the day and be okay.
I also heard you're a sneakerhead. You love you some sneakers, huh?
Let me tell you something. Just got done reliving a great moment this morning. So yes, big sneakerhead. Been taking a break. Took a long break. Just this morning, I went and waited for the first time. I went and camp for a pair of shoes again. Just this morning. Yes.
Which one?
Yeezys dropped.
Oh, I saw it on your store.
The 700 V2s, the Geodes, yeah. That's these guys. It's more of the hunt that's exciting for me.
Yeah.
Like waking up at 6:30, getting dressed. I smoke my blunt on the way to the train station. Like niggas are like, you want to wait outside? Yeah. I want to be like, I might not get it.
I know you held that bag with pride.
Oh, what? I held myself down. For the first Chicago drop for some Yeezys, I was proud of myself. But I'm really into the Yeezys right now.
Yeah.
We're not going to worry about what he's doing as a person. We're just going to worry about the shoes.
The shoes.
And I like them because they're like cool kid sneakers, but they're also like they're utility. Like you can wear them.
Yeah.
Like, they're meant to be worn. I'm not that guy that buys shoes and
just have.
No, it might take me a minute to wear them. I might have to wait for an occasion. But once I wear them, it's time to wear them. Yeah. But Rejuvenator is amazing. I've been spraying my shoes down. I took these to the UK with me.
Oh yeah, I saw you went out the country.
All sorts of stuff. Nothing.
Wow.
Buy Rejuvenator.
Those look new.
Yes, Rejuvenator. Nothing. I promise you. There's nothing on this shoe. I was so amazed.
This last game, it's really short.
Yeah.
But it's called Guess That Lyric. But it's more so guess the artist. I got their lyric, and this is Chicago edition.
Mercy.
So I want to see how well you can do.
Very bad.
Can you get 4 out of 4?
Probably not. I have a little faith in myself. Let's see.
First one is feel powerful with my dick tucked in, puckering my lips at the grocery store, taking pictures with my gut sucked in. What artist is that?
Damn.
It's actually someone that's pretty close to you.
I feel like my gut feeling tells me this is a Joe line.
Joe who?
Chilliams. It is? Yo, let's pull it out, yo. I was like, that feels like Joe.
Yeah, he said some out of pocket shit.
Yeah,
but it's but it's good though. It
makes has the most consistent to the left rap you'll find.
Right. He's
just consistently to the side and it goes.
But he's so good at it.
It's him.
Yeah, that's just his style.
I love it. And a great person. More than anything, great person.
So the next one, which some people that are also close to you, so try not to get this wrong. You niggas thought it was acquired, but I'm higher. I'm watching Game of Thrones. They watch the throne.
I feel like
it's 2 people. You gotta get this.
I know. Is this? I feel like that might be a Kari line.
Okay. That's one person.
So this hurt everybody?
Yeah. No, not her.
No.
It's recent. Yeah.
This is Slime and Kari.
Yeah,
this is Slime and Kari. Operation
The Billy Blanks.
Yeah. Go get that shit.
Out now.
Them was my homies, man.
The next one, I'm gonna judge you so hard if you don't get this. I'm gonna judge you so hard.
I feel like I'm doing decent right now.
Yeah, you got 2 out of 4 so far.
I'm doing decent.
Okay, next one is 6 hands ahead of me, had to be, clean up my school and janitor's habits, he gladly see.
You might have me on this one.
I'm gonna judge you so hard if you don't get this one.
Is this somebody in Freenation?
No. I don't know, I can't tell you.
Okay. Say it one more time. Do I get a read?
6 hands ahead of me, had to be, clean up my school and janitor's habits, he gladly see.
Man, that's kind of intricate.
You have to know this person. If you go, oh my god, that's terrible.
I know. Is this Mick?
Yes, it's Mick.
Yes. I was like,
it's Stress Fracture.
Stress Fracture. I was like,
fucking love that song.
Oh yeah.
Boy, don't even get me started.
So watching him perform that song, because he opens up with it.
Yeah, I'm so mad I missed the tour in Chicago.
Oh man.
I was so pissed.
Talia Hall was
insane, huh?
It was crazy. I don't have time to figure out how I feel at all.
Okay, 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. I feel like I did way better than I thought I was going to.
Hey, check you out. Yeah. If you get this last one, you're officially a Chicagoan. Officially.
I need this.
I try to make it somewhat easy for you, but I'm just like, nah, I gotta hit him with the, you know.
Okay.
All right, so
I'm ready.
Last one is Chicago East Room Savage, ashes for backstage passes, ashes to house on Ashland.
Man, you got me. I'm stumped.
Want me to help you out and make it easier and give you 3 options?
Yeah, give me 3 options.
Okay, so.
Shout out Lucky though. I really fuck with Lucky. I know that's not a Lucky line, but I really fuck with Lucky.
Okay, so 3 options, A, B, C. So A, Super.
Okay.
B, let's go with Mulatto.
It's not this guy. Right.
C, No Name.
Ooh, I want to go No Name. I want it to be No Name.
Are you sure?
Can it be No Name?
Going once?
Yeah, I'm going with
It's
No
No
Name.
Name.
No Name.
Okay, so 4 out of 4.
We love No Name. We love No Name.
Okay, is there any last thoughts that you want to get off before we...
Freenation, I love you. We got so much more coming in store. Shout out Smee. Shout out Lon. L Boogie, them people. He has taken me in. He's done so much for me. Shout out Ambi. I love Ambi. She's also been one person who's held me down since the beginning. Pivot Gang.
Pivot.
Mellow. Especially motherfucking
Genuine
Mellow.
group of people.
Yeah, Mellow, Fresh, Joe, Saab, Day Day. You know what I mean? I've had the opportunity to go over there and work with them. Man, I always say what I'm saying in these moments. That's really it. I love Chicago. I love the scene from the west side to the south side. All that. I love it. And shout out Stevie. Chicago Votes. That's my cousin.
Thank you, Stock, so much.
Thank you for having me.
Allowing me to interview you. Because like I don't have any like major media companies backing me up. I'm just doing this because I love doing it.
Yeah.
Just being able to sit down with you and actually have a conversation with you means so much to me. And I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this. For real.
Thank you so much.
So for real. So I'm excited to see what else you and Freenation have coming in the future, and I hope and I wish you much success.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that was so sweet. Like, that was so sweet. Yes, thank you so much.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out and listen to Smoke Signals, out now on all platforms.
Yes.
Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, you name it.
Yeah, SoundCloud's coming. I'm so sorry. All my South Africans, I'm sorry. Dude hit me up like, yo, we don't got it, and I feel like I'm missing out. I'm uploading it ASAP.
You better keep your word on that before they come and attack you.
I promise you.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.